Good morning, welcome to your Friday, September 8th daily operations weather briefing. Well, currently across the region, we do have high pressure, which is continuing to influence our weather pattern and will be providing us with fairly pleasant conditions, unseasonably cool conditions as well over the next several days, as the cold front that had moved through earlier yesterday has completely moved offshore and will continue to push eastward with that high pressure system building more over the region. And you can start to see the northern edge of Hurricane Irma on the surface analysis here, which looks like it'll be providing some devastating impacts to Key West and the Florida Keys, and Miami area. So we'll talk about that just a little bit later here. So we zoom in over the area. We do have just a few cumulus clouds as well as some cirrus clouds streaming across the area, but we'll pretty much be averaging sunny skies throughout the day today. And as you see, temperatures drop down into the mid-50s overnight, and they'll be warming up into the lower to mid-70s, which is unseasonably cool for this time of year, as our daytime highs are normally in the lower 80s and our overnight lows in the mid to lower 60s. So unseasonably cool, but very pleasant conditions on tap for us today and for the next several days. So for our current conditions right now, few at 4,000, few at 25,000, a northwesterly wind at 4 knots with a temperature of 63 degrees as of 8 a.m. And for the next 24 hours, as was the case yesterday, we're going to be green across the board in terms of our hazards. Our high temperature for today is expected to be around 75 degrees, and then we'll have a northwesterly wind shifting more westerly after 12 p.m. this afternoon, and then a light westerly wind throughout the day, and then tapering off, becoming variable less than 5 knots closer to the 8 p.m. hour. As you can see, temperatures overnight will be dropping down into the mid-50s once again with clear skies and light winds, and then we'll see by tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. a light northerly wind at about 6 to 11 knots. Our overnight low looks to be about 55 degrees. For the next couple days, again, we're going to be green across the board for our hazards, and temperatures remaining in the lower 70s for daytime highs, mostly sunny and pleasant on Saturday with a high of 73 degrees, a low of 57 degrees Saturday night into Sunday with mostly clear skies, and then Sunday much of the same, mostly sunny and pleasant. As far as Hurricane Irma is concerned, still a category, and was downgraded to a Category 4 hurricane, but is just below that Cat 5 limit, so it's still a fairly strong storm and does have the potential to increase back to a Cat 5 as it will be traveling over some warmer waters, but it's all going to be dependent on its interaction with Cuba and some increased area of shear that it could be entering in terms of how much it will either diminish or strengthen, but it will still be a very strong hurricane, as right now it's forecasted to track right over the Florida Keys and into the central portions of Florida and right up along the backbone of central Florida and into the Georgia area, making landfall Saturday night into Sunday morning. Could provide some very devastating impacts for the parts of southern Florida. As you see, traveling behind Hurricane Irma, we do have Category 3 Hurricane Jose, which will be eventually making a right turn and heading towards Bermuda, but it will be stalling out well south of Bermuda, as it'll get trapped by the Bermuda high that'll begin to build back into right over top of Jose, and also will be trapped in terms of getting a westward progress by Irma as it moves into the southeastern United States. So look, Irma right now is again listed as a Category 4 hurricane with 150 mile per hour sustained winds and a central pressure of 927. So we have risen slightly since yesterday, as at this time it was a 921 millibar with 180 mile per hour sustained winds. But as far as the forecast tracked by the National Hurricane Center is concerned, it continues to jump around in terms of where it's actually going to make landfall in Florida. It does look like a fairly good certainty that it will be making landfall in Florida. It's just a matter of what the exact landfall is going to be, as the models continue to shift more westerly now compared to what we have been seeing the past several days as they were pushing eastward. But in terms of the Wallops area, it's actually a decent track, as it will avoid any of those higher winds as well that we were going to potentially see early next week. But Again, this is still a developing situation. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. But it looks like it'll be going into the Florida Keys and into the South Central Florida as a Category 3, possibly Category 4 hurricane, possibly seeing winds sustained at 150 miles per hour as it makes landfall, and storm surge is going to be a major concern in that area. As far as the model guidance is concerned, again, you see the models have made a drastic shift westward compared to what they were yesterday. They were actually taking it up the eastern portions of Florida, but now general consensus going into central Florida. But again, this is still a developing situation as there are a lot of factors involved with the final endgame of Irma, as it's going to be dependent on how much the ridge over the central Atlantic breaks down and where this trough that's currently over the northeastern United States moves, and also what kind of role that upper level energy that will be diving into the northwestern United States plays on the interaction of the trough over the northeast and also the ridge over the central Atlantic. Well, that'll conclude the Daily Ops weather briefing for today. We'll be back with you at 10 a.m. for the extended outlook. Have a great day.